In life, people enter and exit our personal spheres, much like the changing seasons. Some individuals, even if they appear in our lives only briefly, perhaps during a quick conversation at a social gathering or a short collaboration at work, leave us feeling uplifted, inspired, and more open-hearted. They renew our faith in humanity, making us believe that trust, warmth, and compassion are still abundant qualities. Through a single kind gesture, an insightful comment, or an unexpected show of support, they remind us that genuine goodness can be found in surprising places and times. On the other hand, there are those we encounter who cause discomfort, tension, and disillusionment right from the start. These individuals seem to drain our emotional resources. Being around them can feel as though a heavy, dark curtain has suddenly been drawn over a previously sunlit room. Over time, as we gain experience and mature, we come to recognize that not everyone deserves our respect, and certainly not all are worthy of our trust. This realization may at first feel disappointing, even disheartening, but ultimately, it is liberating. We learn to set boundaries and to distinguish between the truly supportive relationships that help us grow and those that impede our well-being. In today's world, with its constant flow of communication and the rapid expansion of our social networks, both online and offline, we are more likely to encounter a wide variety of personalities. Among them are those who, for one reason or another, try to manipulate, deceive, or exploit others. Sometimes, the healthiest strategy is to avoid engaging with these individuals, to refuse to be drawn into their conflicts, dramas, or mind games. Stoic philosophy, which places a profound emphasis on inner resilience and personal responsibility, can guide us in understanding these difficult people and in preserving our inner peace, despite their negative influence. From the perspective of Stoicism, external events, and by extension, external personalities, do not hold ultimate power over our emotional state. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, reminded us that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our judgments about them. Applied to difficult people, this principle encourages us to differentiate between what another person says or does and our internal interpretation. While we cannot directly control their actions or attitudes, we can control our reactions. This does not mean we must condone harmful behaviors, but rather that we can choose not to let their negativity define our state of mind. Let's examine 9 types of individuals who commonly appear in various contexts: workplaces, social groups, families, online communities, and who often do not deserve our trust or respect. We will not only analyze how these people behave and think, but also explore how Stoic principles can help us navigate interactions with them. To deepen your understanding, I challenge you to focus closely on just one of these types as you read. Reflect on how that archetype might have appeared in your life, how you reacted, and how you might handle such situations more calmly and wisely in the future. Sometimes, even one category of troublesome person can serve as a valuable mirror, illuminating aspects of our own character or clarifying how we want to conduct our relationships. 1. The narcissist, the excessively self-adoring individual. The narcissist is a familiar figure in modern life. You might have worked with someone who, despite contributing no more than anyone else, consistently claims all credit for successful projects. In friendships, a narcissistic individual might dominate the conversation, continually steering it back to themselves, their accomplishments, and their opinions. Their need for attention is insatiable. They live on a diet of flattery and admiration, becoming irritable or even hostile when they do not receive it. Historically, the concept of narcissism draws from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a young man so enamored with his own reflection that he wasted away by the water's edge. Psychologists see narcissistic behavior as often masking deep insecurities, intense fears of being overlooked, and a fragile self-image that must be constantly reinforced from outside. This is why narcissists may belittle others, ignore contributions of team members, or become defensive and angry when challenged. Stoicism helps us deal with narcissists by teaching us to maintain our composure and sense of self-worth independently of their validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are disturbed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it." Instead of being offended or distressed by a narcissist's self-centered attitude, we can choose to remain unaffected, recognizing their behavior for what it is, a reflection of their own internal struggles rather than a measure of our worth. When interacting with a narcissist, strive to keep your own center of gravity. You can acknowledge their existence without fueling their need for praise. Offer calm, factual responses rather than emotional reactions. If they attempt to take credit for your work, calmly set the record straight without unnecessary hostility. Over time, you can minimize their influence in your life, focusing instead on relationships grounded in mutual respect, honesty, and shared values. 2. The manipulator. Manipulators are skilled at concealing their true intentions. They twist words, omit key facts, or subtly nudge you into doubting your own perceptions. Phrases such as, "You're overreacting," "That's not what I said," or "You must have misunderstood," are common tools in their arsenal. By blurring the line between truth and fiction, manipulators strive to control the narrative, weakening your confidence and making you question your reality. In romantic partnerships, a manipulator may gaslight you to gain power, insisting that certain events never happened or that your feelings are invalid. In the workplace, a manipulative colleague or supervisor might portray you as incompetent or overly sensitive to block your progress or maintain their position of authority. The resulting confusion, self-doubt, and tension can be emotionally draining. Stoicism offers a shield against such tactics. Marcus Aurelius counsels us to cultivate an inner fortress of the mind. By carefully reflecting on our experiences, we learn to trust our reason and perceptions. Instead of being drawn into emotional whirlpools, we can evaluate the manipulator's statements calmly, checking facts against known truths. If needed, seek external confirmations, trusted friends, documented evidence, or a neutral third party to reassert your sense of reality. It's also vital to set and maintain firm boundaries. Communicate clearly that you recognize what is happening and that you do not consent to being treated this way. If the manipulator persists, consider distancing yourself. Protecting your mental well-being is far more important than trying to win against someone who distorts truth for personal gain. 3. The perpetual victim. We all encounter individuals who constantly frame their lives as a series of injustices inflicted upon them by others. At first glance, it's natural to feel empathy and even compassion, as none of us are immune to hardships. However, after repeated interactions, a pattern emerges. They never take responsibility, never consider their own role in problems, and never seek proactive solutions. Instead, they seem comfortable dwelling in a state of helplessness, often using your sympathy as a resource. This can become exhausting. The perpetual victim drains emotional energy by continually demanding attention, pity, and comfort, yet offering nothing constructive in return. Rather than working to improve their circumstances, they find reasons why everything is unfair. This mindset can contaminate social or work environments, creating a negative atmosphere and discouraging problem-solving or personal growth. Stoic philosophy advises looking beyond appearances. Epictetus taught that it's our reactions, not external conditions, that define our inner state. For those who constantly play the victim, the issue is that they refuse to acknowledge their capacity for change. In responding to such individuals, remember to protect your boundaries. Offer support within reason, but encourage them to seek solutions. If they resist and keep clinging to their victim identity, accept that you cannot force them to change. Choose not to participate endlessly in their narrative of misery. Compassion doesn't mean enabling destructive mindsets. True compassion sometimes requires a loving but firm stance, letting them face the consequences of their chosen perspective. 4. The judgmental. The judgmental person views others through a narrow lens. Rather than attempting to understand the complexities of a situation, they reduce people into simplistic categories: good or bad, worthy or unworthy. This superficial approach disregards the fact that every individual has a unique story, struggles, and motivations. In practice, a judgmental coworker might ridicule a colleague's idea without understanding its background. A judgmental family member might criticize your life choices without hearing your reasoning. Instead of engaging in meaningful dialogue, they rely on snap judgments and stereotypes, often causing unnecessary hurt and conflict. Stoic wisdom teaches restraint and reflection. The ancient Stoics emphasized listening more than speaking, observing carefully before jumping to conclusions. To navigate judgmental people, first acknowledge that their hasty criticisms are more about them than about you. Their harsh judgments often stem from ignorance, insecurity, or a desire to confirm their own worldview. Remain calm when confronted with judgment. You can quietly question: does this person truly understand the full context? Are they speaking from knowledge or from bias? By recognizing that you're not obligated to internalize their assessments, you preserve your inner equilibrium. If necessary, clarify your position calmly. If they persist in harsh judgments, limit the importance you give to their opinions. Over time, your peace of mind will matter more than trying to appease those unwilling to understand. 5. The chronic fault finder, the destructive critic. Constructive criticism aims to help us grow, refine our skills, and broaden our perspectives. However, not all criticism is constructive. Some individuals seem to relish tearing others down without offering insights or actionable suggestions. Their words feel more like attacks than guidance, leaving you feeling diminished. This destructive critic might be the boss who only points out what you did wrong, never acknowledging improvements. It could be a supposed friend who highlights every flaw in your appearance, goals, or plans, offering no support or encouragement. Over time, persistent exposure to such negativity can erode self-confidence, stifle creativity, and discourage taking necessary risks for growth. The Stoics remind us to separate what is within our control from what is beyond it. We cannot force a destructive critic to be kind or fair, but we can choose how we interpret their words. Marcus Aurelius advised looking for truth, if any exists, even in harsh feedback, extracting what can help us improve, and discarding what is useless or untrue. This approach allows us to transform even harsh criticism into an opportunity for learning. If the destructive critic's commentary is baseless or mean-spirited, recognize it as such. Their words do not define you. Focus instead on input that helps you grow, and surround yourself whenever possible with people who value honesty, tempered by empathy and a genuine desire to uplift. 6. The envious envy arises from an internal sense of lack. The envious person sees someone else's success, happiness, or opportunity and interprets it as a threat or a personal slight. Instead of celebrating another's good fortune, they feel bitterness and resentment. Envy can poison relationships, break down trust, and lead to indirect sabotage. An envious coworker might spread rumors to undermine your reputation after your promotion. An envious friend might belittle your achievements or subtly discourage you from pursuing your ambitions. This hostility stems from their inner turmoil. They measure their worth by comparing themselves to others, failing to find contentment in their own journey. Stoicism teaches that happiness and peace of mind come from aligning our desires with what is in our power, not from outperforming others. By internalizing this principle, we can avoid getting drawn into envious games. When confronted with envy, maintain perspective. Their envy is not truly about you, it's about their insecurity. Try to avoid responding with retaliation or anger. Instead, consider what unmet needs or fears might be driving their envy. This doesn't mean you must accept harmful behavior, but understanding the root cause can help you navigate the situation more effectively. If necessary, create distance. Your emotional well-being should not be sacrificed to appease someone's jealousy. Focus on your path, your growth, and the blessings in your own life, rather than getting entangled in their comparisons. 7. The gossiper gossip is a kind of social poison that spreads distrust and misunderstanding. Gossipers thrive on private details, half-truths, and insinuations, weaving a web of intrigue that can destabilize group harmony. In workplaces, gossiping co-workers create an environment of suspicion. In social circles, rumor-mongering can destroy friendships and reputations. Online, gossip can spread with lightning speed, harming individuals who may not even have the opportunity to defend themselves. From a Stoic viewpoint, engaging in gossip wastes time and energy and risks compromising your integrity. Gossipers often lure others into their orbit by appealing to curiosity or by making it seem like inclusion in their secrets grants special status. But remember, those who gossip with you can gossip about you. To handle gossipers, consider silence or direct disengagement. If someone tries to involve you in harmful rumors, politely change the subject or state that you prefer discussing constructive matters. Over time, people will learn that you're not easily drawn into idle talk. As you avoid gossip, you reinforce your own credibility and protect the trust others have in you. 8. The fair weather friend. Not everyone who enters your life intends to stay through the storms. Fair weather friends relish good times, parties, celebrations, successes. But when adversity strikes, when you need support during job loss, illness, or emotional hardship, they disappear. This lack of reliability can hurt more than a direct betrayal because it's often unexpected. You believed them to be a friend who cared, only to find out that their care had conditions. Stoicism encourages self-reliance and internal resilience. While true, supportive friendships are treasures that enrich our lives, not all bonds are formed on mutual understanding and loyalty. Recognizing a fair-weather friend frees you to invest your energy in those relationships that matter. This doesn't mean becoming cynical or isolating yourself. Rather, it means learning to discern quality over quantity in friendships. Remember that true friends stand by each other not only during moments of laughter and success, but also when the path is steep and the night is long. Identify and cherish those who show up for you in tough times, and release the hold that fair-weather friends have on your emotional life. In doing so, you maintain serenity and direct your energies into relationships that support your personal growth and fulfillment. 9. The Flatterer. Flatterers shower you with compliments, but their praise often feels superficial or out of proportion. They're not truly interested in your growth or well-being. Instead, they want something: favors, access to your network, protection, or simple validation of their own worth. Their excessive admiration can cloud your judgment, leading you to trust them prematurely. When their true colors emerge, you may feel betrayed or foolish. Stoics emphasize authenticity and sincerity. Real praise is specific, honest, and never demands repayment. A true friend or mentor who recognizes your strengths will also not shy away from pointing out areas of improvement. In contrast, flatterers manipulate your ego and vanity. Guard against flattery by grounding yourself in reality. Know your strengths and weaknesses and maintain a balanced self-image. If someone's compliments are too frequent, too grandiose, or too disconnected from actual achievements, question their motives. Over time, you'll become more skilled at distinguishing those who offer sincere acknowledgement from those who deal in hollow flattery. With this discernment, you protect your integrity and direct your trust to those who genuinely deserve it. Integrating Stoic principles into our encounters. Reading through these 9 types of people: narcissists, manipulators, perpetual victims, judgmental individuals, chronic fault finders, the envious, gossipers, fair weather friends, and flatterers, may evoke a mixture of emotions. Perhaps you recognize some of these traits in colleagues, acquaintances, or even in yourself. The Stoic approach encourages us not to judge ourselves harshly if we find echoes of these behaviors in our past actions. Instead, we should see this as an opportunity to grow and change. Stoicism guides us to develop patience, understanding, and self-control. It does not demand that we naively trust everyone or continuously tolerate abuse. On the contrary, Stoicism acknowledges that life is filled with challenges and difficult characters. The key is to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. We can distance ourselves from harmful people without harboring hatred or bitterness. We can decline invitations to gossip without becoming hostile. We can face envy, criticism, and judgment calmly, confident in our values and worth. Practical steps for applying Stoicism. Self-examination. Regularly reflect on your own reactions, asking whether you are responding rationally and virtuously. Marcus Aurelius recommended a nightly review of one's actions and thoughts to ensure alignment with values. Setting boundaries. Knowing when to walk away from a conversation, limit contact with a certain individual, or end a toxic relationship is part of self-care. Epictetus advised focusing on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and decisions, instead of trying to fix or change others. Seeking perspective. Before taking someone's behavior personally, consider their possible motivations and limitations. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it can reduce unnecessary anger or resentment. Developing compassion. Within reason. Stoicism doesn't advocate indifference to others' suffering. However, it encourages rational compassion, understanding without enabling destructive behavior. You can maintain goodwill without sacrificing your own peace or integrity. Journaling and mindfulness. Writing down encounters with difficult people can clarify patterns and help you strategize. Mindfulness practices, such as focused breathing or meditation, can help calm the mind and keep emotional responses in check. Learning from encounters. Each difficult interaction is an opportunity to refine your approach to life. Reflect on what worked, what didn't, and how you can maintain equanimity. Over time, these lessons build resilience. Rethinking removal versus transformation. You might wonder, should we completely remove these people from our lives? Sometimes it's possible and beneficial, especially if an individual's influence is continually harmful. At other times, circumstances, family ties, work obligations, or shared projects prevent a clean break. Stoicism suggests that even if we cannot remove certain people, we can transform our perception and approach. Instead of seeing their presence as a curse, we can view them as teachers, albeit unwitting ones. They teach us patience, boundary setting, self-awareness, and the importance of maintaining our inner compass in turbulent social weather. The challenge isn't always to change them. Indeed, often we can't, but to fortify our own serenity and virtue in their presence. Measuring your satisfaction and growth. As you've read through this extended exploration, consider how you feel now compared to when you began. Did focusing on one type of problematic individual highlight areas in your own life where you can make improvements? Perhaps you realized that by responding calmly rather than emotionally, you protect your peace and even encourage more constructive dialogue. In the Stoic tradition, improvement is a gradual process. Epictetus reminded his students that philosophical progress is not measured by how many words you know or how well you can quote the masters, but by how much better you handle challenges. True growth reveals itself in your day-to-day interactions, your emotional stability, and your ability to remain compassionate without being naive. Consider sharing your reflections and satisfaction level with this text and these ideas. Did you find it helpful, enlightening, or inspiring? Were you neutral, dissatisfied, or extremely pleased? Engaging with these philosophical concepts and exchanging perspectives with others who are on a similar path can deepen your understanding. Human experience is vast and varied. By sharing our experiences and the insights we glean from them, we collectively become wiser and more resilient. Looking ahead, if you found value in these reflections on Stoicism, interpersonal relationships, and the various personalities that challenge our inner peace, you might want to explore more philosophical resources. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus left a rich legacy of thoughts on managing desires, fears, anger, and disappointment. Modern interpreters of Stoicism adapt these ancient principles to contemporary life, offering guidance on everything from workplace politics to digital communication. Life will invariably present more difficult personalities and situations. By internalizing Stoic virtues, courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, you prepare yourself to face them with equanimity. Over time, you'll find that external negativity loses its grip on your emotions. Instead of feeling victimized or frustrated, you'll recognize these encounters as part of the complex tapestry of human existence, opportunities to practice and strengthen your character. In sum, the journey through these 9 types of people and the principles of Stoicism is not just an intellectual exercise, it's a practical roadmap. With patience and perseverance, you can build a life anchored in authenticity and resilience, where trust and respect are granted judiciously to those who genuinely earn them, and where your inner peace remains yours to cultivate and protect.